Hi everyone, this is a presentation about yoga and the goddess of the dawn, featuring Ushas Mudra, Shashankasana, rabbit pose, and Surya Namaskar sun series. So we'll begin with the Vedic goddess Ushas. Her name means the first ray of light. She is seen as an ever-young maiden being born daily with the coming of each new dawn. With over 20 hymns dedicated to Ushas, she is the most popular goddess in the Rig Veda. Ushas is the daughter of Dios Pitar and Prithvi Matar, Father Sky and Mother Earth. She is the elder sister of Ratri, the night, and replaces her younger sister before the sun rises every day. When Ushas rises, the night is dark and deep, and the sky begins to adorn her. She is the force that propels even the gods into action. If you catch the light just before the sun appears, be sure to greet her. And here's a quote from the Rig Veda, which is the oldest scripture in the Hindu tradition. We see that thou art good, far shines thy luster, thy beams, thy splendor have flown up to heaven. Decking thyself, thou makest bare thy bosom, shining in thy majesty, thou goddess morning. So in Nepal and eastern India, there's a special 4-day festival called Chhat Puja, which celebrates the sun, the dawn, and the dusk. So connecting all of this to yoga, there's a special mudra called Ushas Mudra. And mudra is explained as a gesture to bring bliss closer. So here's 2 ways that you can practice this mudra. Ushas is portrayed as a beautifully adorned young woman riding in a golden chariot drawn by horses or cows on her path across the sky, making way for Surya, the sun. So in this image we have Usha and Pratyusha, the goddesses of dawn and dusk respectively, flanking their husband Surya, the sun god, shooting arrows symbolically challenging darkness. And here is an image of the sun series, or Surya Namaskar. Surya Namaskar, the sun series, originated as a series of prostrations to the sun. Traditionally, Surya Namaskar is performed at dawn, facing the rising. Sometimes in the Indo-European traditions, the sun deity was considered feminine. So to the north, the sun was known as Suna. Her light and warmth symbolized life, nurturance, growth, and all that is good. Like Surya, Suna was depicted driving a chariot across the sky every day. In the Old Norse religion, during the Bronze Age, the sun was the most central deity and was perceived as a goddess. So we're now going to come back to the other goddesses of the dawn from the other Indo-European pantheons, which includes the Greek goddess Eos, the Roman goddess Aurora, the German goddess Ostara, and most likely the Anglo-Saxon goddess Io. Here we have the various cognate words for the goddess of dawn from the Indo-European language families. Here we have Eos, Greek goddess of dawn, and she too rides a chariot pulled by horses. Eos is described as a rosy-fingered goddess of dawn. We now turn to the Germanic goddess Ostara. Ostara means to shine, while Ost means east, thus linking her to the dawn. Representing the return of light into the world, Ostara was fittingly celebrated in the spring. In the old Germanic calendar, the equivalent month to April was called Ostarmanod, or Easter month. Ostara seems therefore to have been the divinity of the radiant dawn, a spectacle that brings joy and blessing. Eostre was the Anglo-Saxon goddess who also had a month named in her honor. And we have here a quotation from Bede from the 8th century, who was recording the practices that were still occurring in the pagan traditions. And in many traditions from around the world, there is stories about the rabbit and the moon. And this brings us back to the Indian tradition, where there's also stories about the rabbit and the moon. And Shashank means moon. So in yoga we have Shashankasana, which is the rabbit pose. So we have two versions of this pose. The simpler, more accessible version is to kneel in Vajrasana and extend the body over the thighs with the arms in front.